Welcome back to the FUT Champions Cup Stage 1, Day 2, here in Bucharest, Romania, with 2 games down in the quarterfinal stage on the Xbox. We're about to see the 3rd quarterfinal. Dan Gaskin joins myself and Rachel Stringer on the sofa. Dan, what have you made of today's action so far?
Yeah, a couple of surprises, really. Seeing some of the big dogs eliminated out the competition, some of the I don't want to say newer players, because they are players we've seen before, but surprising players getting through to late stages of the tournament. Spider-Kong
definitely being one of those guys who's had not a mentor FIFA 19, a bit quiet one, but he's come back for FIFA 20, representing Brazil particularly. I know the Brazilian fan base at home is super supportive of their nation, and they'll be so happy to see what they're doing, aren't they?
It's always interesting when we just spoke to him, he was on the sofa a minute ago, he doesn't really know what clicked, because he said obviously he was doing things in FIFA 17, now doing things again in FIFA 20, but those 2 years, I'd love to kind of like actually get into it and find out what was going wrong, because it just seems to just clicked and he's doing well again now.
I always find it really interesting, actually, something that Aggie Rosenmeyer, who's a long legend of the game over the last almost decade, sometimes he's said things like, I don't feel like I'm particularly good at FIFA 19, but I'm very good at FIFA.
Yeah.
There's a difference, isn't there? Because there's certain traits which are just across every game, unilateral, but then there's things you can be a little bit better at each year, and that's why what Tex is currently doing is so impressive. The fact that he carries it across.
All these players are here at this tournament because they are the best players we have in the world. But then when you get to the top, there was always going to be something that separates the best players from the very best players, and it's usually those like small intricacies that come from certain iterations of FIFA.
Yes, we've got another quarterfinal coming up now, and I think many people might say it's one of the biggest. It's 2 very, very strong players going head-to-head, one from England, one from France. I'm looking forward to this one. I know you guys are as well. It's going to be Lyricz versus Rafsou. And if we've talked about anything with Rafsou over the last few days, it's that he's Mr. Inconsistent. He's either unbelievable or he gets beat fairly convincingly. Lyricz has probably been a little bit more consistent to the 2 players there in front of us. What are you guys thinking about this game?
But I mean, last season, Rafsou was kind of everywhere, wasn't he? He made, I think, 3 FUT Champions Cups. He got to the E-Champions League final. He went really far in the FEWC. I think he was at the Club World Cup. Like, so many accolades to his name. And obviously, Lyricz wasn't around for the second half of the season, but he kind of was, because he was with Nightwatch, wasn't he? He was coaching Nightwatch and was learning, I guess, the game from just being around. So they kind of were there, but in different roles. I know they're sitting behind us and they're listening to everything we're saying. I'm always conscious of that at this point, because they are now in their seats. So I just don't know. Obviously, we saw him in Swiss yesterday. Lyricz got the better of Rafsou there, spoke to Rafsou last night, and I think I said it earlier, he just says, this is a new day, and so far, so good for him. I don't know, I'm always like, don't want to look around too much if they're listening to us. I'm sure they're in their zone now.
They probably are. I wanted to spice things up. Apparently, there wasn't a handshake last time they played
each other.
I
was going to say that. They could look at that on Twitter. There's a bit of beef.
It was not a handshake after the game.
There was a 6-0 victory for Lyricz after when they last played, and apparently no handshake, according to tweet. I'm just going to put it out there.
Don't like that on Twitter.
So awkward,
Stir it up.
Address the elephant in the room.
This one.
They're literally behind us, and we're like, it's like David Attenborough or something. They're right behind us. We've got to be quiet.
But honestly, I think there's a little bit of something in this game anyway. Like Rafsou with an incredible season. Lyricz, that redemption story after being banned in last season as well. There's a lot of talk about Lyricz being one of the best players of this tournament, but one of the best players on FIFA 20 potentially. So I'm really excited to see what he has to offer going up against a giant that is Rafsou.
Yeah, particularly from the English scene, there's been a couple of names that have been shouted about. One was Diogo, who didn't quite make it further than the last round, but Lyricz is the other one that's coming up a lot. And I think both Lyricz and Rafsou, in different ways, have got points to prove. Lyricz obviously missed out on a lot of last year, but all the pros knew he was a high-quality player. So he's back and looking to do that, representing a new team now with FUTWiz as well. He's got FUTWiz Dan in his corner there, a man who knows the game very well. He was even giving tips to Diogo yesterday about changing his team around. And, of course, was the England coach. He was at the FIFA's version to Gareth Southgate, although didn't wear the waistcoat, and I still haven't forgiven him for that.
Can't believe it.
But Rafsou has his own point to prove, because I think, yes, I agree, he had a great year last year. He's getting deep into a lot of the tournaments, but he could really use a big tournament win, I think, to put him in an area of the conversation that he probably deserves to be.
And I mean, yes, okay, so he lost to Lyricz yesterday, but he came back today. He beat Megabit 4-0 to get into this stage. Megabit.
Megabit beat Desari as well, didn't he, yesterday?
Like,
I know Desari went out.
To beat that kind of player that decisively, like, is very impressive, and I think he's going to put him in a really good mood for today. And how many times have we seen someone beat someone in Swiss and then lose to them in the knockouts? So
Definitely, and always we get to see a bit more into these guys' kind of personal lives or personalities when it comes to social media.
Yeah.
And we have got a tweet we can look at actually from Lyricz.
Yeah, this is it.
Won my last game 6-0, through to knockouts. Unfortunately, opponent Rafsou didn't want to shake my hand, so next time we're going to hit him for 10. So he wants to go even bigger than 6-0. I mean, there's no love lost, is there?
No, and everyone on social media is replying to that with the kind of Strictly Come Dancing signs. You know, the number 10 on the scoreboard going, yes, we're going to have 10. So it's kind of become a thing. So if you do want to get involved with that, go and join in on Twitter, find these two, because they're just getting ready behind us. It's making things exciting.
Lyricz' personality makes me laugh. There was another tweet as well where they tweeted out a video of him analysing Van Dijk. And he was like, yeah, I don't like Van Dijk, but he is sick though. And that was it. That was just analysing.
We should get him on the couch. I think he'd be great on here.
I think it'd be good. Well, he has to win to get here.
There's been a lot of chat throughout today about the big boxing match coming up later tonight, of course. This could be a potential undercard in the future.
I think so, yeah.
Maybe.
Rafsou versus Lyricz. It could be the game of the round. Certainly has maybe got the most kind of tension going into it, you could say. You can cut it with a knife. We can feel it. It's palpable in the studio here. Very much looking forward to seeing what they can do. Shout out to Rafsou's brother as well, Mentz, who get another good showing this tournament, and amazing family FIFA ability. So well done. Obviously, parents getting them on FIFA early doors when they first were born.
Yeah, I love that. We don't want to go about pushy parents, but what do? They kind of had these two kids, like, what are they going to be? They're going to be FIFA players when they grow up, and they're not doing too badly at the moment.
That is the trophy they're trying to get, of course. But winning this game gets them a different, slightly smaller trophy, which is for the Masters accomplishment, which means they qualify for the next game. And there's obviously a lot of different permutations with that. You can see on the screen now, this is what could happen based on the next few results. So the people on the top of the boxes, if you like, they qualify for stage 2 if the players underneath them do what they need to do. So Phil, we know, is qualified already, because even because Tex beat him, he still gets a spot. Now, looking at the FUT with Lyricz, third box across, we've got, I'm going to say, Benny CR7. He qualifies for the next tournament 2 weeks from now if Lyricz wins this game. So Lyricz isn't just playing for himself, he's playing for Benny CR7 as well.
And Rafsou, he is also a Masters player from the FEWC, so he's already kind of got one of those roles here. He's made this one. He hasn't actually qualified for 2 weeks' time in Bucharest, so I'm sure he would like to be in one of those underdog positions, but not to be. We won't see him next time. So again, that'll probably fuel him even more to want to do better here, to get more points, because we won't see him in Bucharest for FUT Champions Cup 2.
And it's quite a rare situation. I don't think we'll find ourselves in this situation, which you might have already mentioned on the show, because this was one of the only cases where the qualifier was before both of the FUT Champions Cups. So it's kind of fun to add these little extra spicy things, and I'm sure that Ben ACR7 is going to be watching, just praying that Lyricz does get the victory here. Because the way it works is, I think it was Ben ACR7 lost to Lyricz, so that he is the next person that basically stands
the person that beats you. And often when you get knocked out of a tournament, you want the people that beat you to go on to win, because it makes you feel better about yourself. In this case, they actually help you the next tournament, which is great. So it's prediction time, guys. Who are we going for, Dan?
Well, I mean, 6-0 victory is very decisive. I think I would have gone for Lyricz either way in a quarterfinal, because I predict him to get to the console final, so I'm going to go with Lyricz.
Virtual?
I feel like I should whisper because they're behind me. I'm not going to whisper. Let's go with Rafsou.
Mixing it up.
No.
Back in Rafsou, yes.
Okay, we've got one for Rafsou, one for Lyricz. I'm going to go with Lyricz as well. I think he's playing unbelievable FIFA, but Rafsou certainly, if he plays his best, could cause an upset, if it's even classing as an upset. Brandon and Richard, what are you guys thinking?
I'm going to kick this one off with a Rafsou win for me. I feel like I spoke to him a little bit earlier today. He showed me his full icon team, which is incredible. And he said, I'm a big game player. I might have lost to Lyricz in the Swiss, but he beat Megabit 4-0. So, Rafsou for me.
11 icons not enough. Lyricz is going to win.
Quick, straight to the point. It's what Buckley does. Lads, enjoy the game.
Thank you very much, Spencer, and obviously Rachel and Dan Gaskin on the couch, giving their predictions as well and their thoughts before we jump into this huge match. And it's already underway. It will be our third quarter-final from the Xbox side. We already know one of our semi-finals, in which, of course, SpiderCon will be up against Tex in our Championship Sunday taking place tomorrow. But, Richard, we've got another semi-final to find out before we get there.
We have indeed. Lyricz taking on Rafsou. Lyricz got into this stage by beating Nico 3-2. Rafsou dispatching Megabit 4-0. A little bit of bad blood between these two after the Swiss game. No handshakes were traded after the match, and I think Rafsou has said to a few people he's coming in with a game plan. He's coming in to frustrate Lyricz. He's coming in to make it not a very pleasant experience, throw Lyricz off his game. All is fair in love and war, and I love it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been talking about how exciting this game can be, like a real tight Look how he's playing now. I know we're about 4 minutes into the game, but I spoke to Rafsou earlier today when I was looking at his team, and he said, I had a game against Lyricz. Clearly he wasn't happy because he didn't go and shake Lyricz's hand, which, of course, you know, there's no etiquette there that it should have been there. Obviously, you always shake your opponent's hand after a game, but he did lose 6-0. So at some point, I was thinking to Rafsou, I was like, I don't know where you're going with this argument as such, because he did lose 6-0. He wasn't too happy with how, you know, with the tactics that Lyricz was using. But Lyricz, a word on him, he has looked fantastic this year. Draft Story Cup, we saw him in action, Richard.
Semi-final.
Semi-final, qualified for both FUT Champions Cup. So you saw kind of the situation regarding the Masters for the FUT Champions Cups. If this player does this and so on, he's already at the next FUT Champions Cup. So whether he gets a top 4 spot, he's already there. This is just for Global Series points and prize money for him. He's had such an impact, hasn't he, to the beginning of the year?
Yeah, massively. I think the signing of him with Team FUT as well was a real good step for him, that an organisation after last season and him getting banned was going to take an opportunity with him, because sometimes that could taint you. That could taint your reputation in the scene.
There's Rafsou early on. Oh, strikes the bar nearly into the goal from the deflection. I think it might have been Manuel Neuer in net for Lyricz.
But as I was saying, now getting with FUTWiz Dan, getting with the family at FUTWiz, I definitely feel it was the best route that he could have taken, and he's backed up his price tag with the unbelievable performances that he has had so far. On the other side, Rafsou, there's a few players in FIFA that are just tournament players. Him, Ajax Danny, these are players who just perform well at tournaments. Ajax Danny went 0-3 in Swiss for FUT Cup 1 in the qualifiers. Then the weekend after went and won $10,000 in a tournament at the Draft Story Cup.
Against some of the best players in the world.
He plays better at tournaments. Rafsou's the exact same. He didn't qualify for FUT Cup 2, but if he wins this game, he's auto-qualified.
Obviously, he just picked himself up a move as well to Iffy Esports alongside, obviously, 2 other French players, and obviously his brother included in that, Ment and Sneaky. 3 players that were at this FUT Champions Cup picked up that all-important move to a new organisation. He was an E-World Cup finalist as well, Rafsou. We've seen him at the E-World Cup final for like a number of years now. And you can just see as well, we're 25 minutes in, we've only had one chance really to cheer about, and that was the finesse on the edge of the box that it was Pele able just to kind of bend that one in.
You were telling me earlier about this full icon team that Rafsou's using. Can you go into a little bit more detail? Just straight up 11 icons. 11
icons, and you know, there was a few debates in there. Obviously, the goalkeeper was the big one. Obviously, a lot of players like, whether it's ter Stegen, whether it's Neuer in form. He said, for me, the closest player to ter Stegen is Yashin. He thinks he's a fantastic player. Obviously, the Russian icon in goal. He's been massive for him as well. He said he's clutched up from him a few times, some massive saves. On the other side of that, I said about the Vieira-Zidane debate for him, and he said, it's just Zidane for me in the midfield. I'm really enjoying using him as well. But as I said, all icons, Richard, 11-man icon team. We know that icons are in use and heavily in use at this FUT Champions Cup, but there's not many teams that are using 11 icons. There's a chance, and it will be a corner. Even George Best getting a run out as well. Not seen George Best really make an impact at a FIFA event since FIFA 17, wasn't it? Yeah, TAS got the win, scored a goal with him in the final against Jihan in Paris. All that time ago. First ever regional tournament, that was the FIFA 17 competitive year, a very, very long time ago that was. Obviously, this is our first event of the FIFA 20 season, FUT Champions Cup Stage 1, live in Bucharest. If you have just joined us, we are in our quarterfinals at the moment for Xbox. If you're looking for a PlayStation play, you're looking at a Maestro or a Lucas Rep, they are in action a little bit later today, so do not go anywhere. So much more competitive FIFA action to come. So that's a real chance for Lyricz as well. Messi interchange with Hullet, not once but twice. A little scoop turn away from his man Neymar. One-on-one, huge save from that man Yashin. That's a warning shot fired at Rafsou. Great chance as well there. The little drag back and then going the same way. Just that combination, isn't it? Not many players have been able to do that. We know that certain things have changed regarding the mechanics in game and players struggling to be able to chain many together. Yashin, get the ball. What is happening? Oh, Jesus. And he still dropped it as well. He still dropped it to play out from the back. A little giggle from Rafsou. I'm surprised he just giggled. If it had went in, it would have been a much different reaction. We know he's quite an emotional player as well, Rafsou. We heard him yesterday in the Swiss rounds, because he didn't go 5-0. It wasn't a clean sweep for him. He did lose a few games in there, including a 6-0 defeat against Lyricz, the man he's up against right now. And you wonder why there's a bit of controversy going into this game. Lyricz also said, tweeted out saying, 6-0 win. Unfortunately, didn't shake my hand, did Rafsou, and this time I want to try and get 10 past him.
Yeah, Rafsou did have a little bit to say as well about Lyricz, about the way that he were playing in that match. However, don't really see it. 6-0 victory. Something has to be wrong in your end for the result to go like that. Offside. It's not like you have lost a 2-1 and your opponent's been time wasting or playing around the back.
Even scored a goal.
6-0 is a pretty decisive win. You see the possession there, 52%. In the first, 10-15 minutes, probably 95% towards Rafsou, but Lyricz definitely building into the game. No changes for either player at half-time. We're getting straight into this second half here, and I'm honestly ready for the first goal to see, is there going to be a massive reaction from either of the two?
I don't think I would, because I think Ajax Danny even brought this into his game. Ajax Danny, quite a passionate player when he scores goals. Yes, he's not at this FUT Champions Cup, but even his own game, he was only doing like a huge let's go,
when
come on.
When
he was 4-0 up, or when he was in a very comfortable position in the second leg. I'm not too sure we'll see it here. Lyricz again. Don't normally see like a big let's go out of him, or that huge emotion that a number of players do have when they do score goals. George Best, as we said, one of the interesting picks that have been backed in this game.
Especially over Garrincha as well. I'd have thought that Garrincha would have probably got the nod over George Best. We saw Tex using Garrincha here. Dublin Mike's a really big fan of him, but George Best the man for him.
The interesting thing as well, Richard, this morning when I went round and looked at some of the pros teams and spoke to some of the pros, George Best was a sub at the time, so I don't know if he's played a game and he's not enjoyed him too much against Megabit. There must be a reason why. If you're wondering why we are saying Megabit's name, Rafsou beat him 4-0.
Clean sheet
in the round of 16. And he also said as well, Richard, that it's just, he needs games like that. He needs those big games to really just allow him to play at his best. Here's Lyricz now of his first real chance. Is it going to fall back to Messi on the edge of the box? No, it's not. Zidane will be able to play it back out to George Best on this right-hand side. Chances are coming, though.
Yeah, they're starting to sneak through, aren't they, at either end? The chances are starting to fall, whether it be for Lyricz or Rafsou. I think Rafsou... Did I see a 4-4-1-1 from him? I'm sure we'll get full confirmation when the kit's... I should say, when the team management screen is up. But... interesting developments here. If you lose 6-0 to someone in Swiss, is that an instant change for when you play them in the knockouts? Have you got to change things up in your head?
It depends how you go on after that as well, because obviously Rafsou, we don't know the stage of when it was in Swiss. I believe it was his third game, so it was kind of in the middle of Swiss for him. Lyricz went on a mad one anyway, stopped kind of that winning momentum in game 5 when he lost against Rajek, and he obviously finished the day 4-1 in Swiss. On the other side of that, Rafsou clearly went on after that and ensured he did enough to ensure that he would get through. So, to answer your question, Richard, I think there would be changes. You don't forget when you lose 6-0 to someone about the way that they play. So there would have been a few changes in there. Obviously, as you're going to say, Richard, he made a change at half-time.
Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo coming on just on the hour mark there. Can he potentially be the difference maker?
Could this be the first goal as well? There's the finesse and there's the goal to get this quarter-final underway. And it will be FUT Lyricz that breaks a deadlock. We know what R9 can do. Left foot, right foot. It always seems to be going in.
Great finish from R9 on the edge of the box. I know I've been watching a lot of Lyricz in qualifying. He's got R9 at home, and he was one of the big reasons that Lyricz was flying through qualifiers at home, because he had the coins to be able to afford that 94 R9, and he's just such a difference maker for him. Continuing to show his worth here in Bucharest for FUT Lyricz.
You said it perfectly, Richard, as well. Not many people could afford R9. So in qualifiers, the first qualifiers, we know that squad restrictions are a thing this year, and the first 2 qualifiers of the year was obviously only seeing 2 icons in use. So if one of your icons is R9 and maybe Hullet as well, your rest of the team can just build around those 2 huge players and impactful players in the world of competitive FIFA. Rafsou still got a pause queued at the moment. If he can get himself back a goal, it will make this second leg even more tastier than it is. Oh, there was the chance. Oh, just wide on the left-hand side.
Just wide on that left post there. Great point you bring up there, Brandon, as well, talking about the icons. 2 icons were the 184. Now it's 3 icons. Yeah. He's playing with a full icon team. He'll never played with a full icon squad before this tournament. Unless he's got a full icon squad in Rivals and he plays Rivals with a different squad to what he's qualifying with, but don't really make sense that to me. So he's just completely changing the way that you're playing. You're just backing that the icons are good enough, which a majority of them are, yes.
Would you say you saw like a similar pattern at all in like the 2 icons that were being used by pros if they could afford them? You
saw a striker and a midfielder. Someone using Eusebio if they could afford him. Someone using Vieira, the 88 version. So Kyle Lees, I think he were using Petite, the 88.
It really is down to every single pro, isn't it? One, who they can afford, and 2, who they back. Because, you know, we've heard jokes this weekend from Diogo who's out the tournament about who plays for the badge. Everyone at home has a different feeling about their team.
With the squad rating as well, if you are using, say, a Kenny Dalglish at 87, you can then use a higher rated, not a gold player, so a higher rated striker, for example, CR7, you can get into the team.
You see, it's players that have had to try and work that out in the qualification stages for the pros. The ball was slightly too heavy. Rafsou knows it as well. It's a golden chance for him. You can see the press as well. The press is real from Rafsou. 4 players around it, but that's 4 players out of the game now from Lyricz, who's so calm and collected, just able to play it out. Unfortunately, Messi can't find the run of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, that ball probably should have gone through there, really. Quite a relaxed pass from Lyricz. As you see Rafsou pressing so high up the pitch. If he can beat this press and get past it, there's so much room in behind that defence. You see him dropping back now. Rafsou's defenders. He's trying to press high up the pitch, but as soon as Lyricz gets it, he's then dropping deep.
Just 5 minutes left in this first leg of our 3rd Xbox quarter-final. Is this the chance for Rafsou now? Look at that back post. It's an option for him, ter Stegen, just doing enough to punch that one away.
Clawing it out of the danger area there.
And Lyricz with a let-off as he just comes down this right-hand side with Cristiano Ronaldo. Will be able to recycle it back to Semedo, a player that not many pros have been backing. They've been obviously looking more towards Carlos Alberto. He's been a fantastic option for a number of pros. The icon in at right back. Interesting to see that he's happy to back obviously the Barcelona Portuguese fullback that's probably done quite a lot for him in the pro qualifiers.
You see Rafsou there spamming an offside trap just underneath his face cam as well. Trying to squeeze his players up the pitch. But a second goal right now for Lyricz would be the dagger to the heart for Rafsou. It's not going to happen, and we're perfectly poised going into the second leg with only a 1-goal advantage for that man on your screen right there. FUT is Lyricz. The game that we've all been looking forward to is delivering right now. It's a tactical masterclass, this game.
It really would have been a shame if we were, 3 or 4-0 to one of these two at this point in the game. But his first leg that's concluded, what I find interesting there is Rafsou, he's not really a player that in between games he goes off and has a drink. He just sits in his seat. He'll look at the chances he's missed, the chances he's created, probably some of the stats as well from the full-time result. Lyricz is off to go and get a drink to refresh and come back for that second leg, Richard, in which he is leading by 1-0. If you have just joined us, it's Rafsou against Lyricz, trying to book a place for a semi-final.
Yeah, what a game that we've got in this second leg right now. It's just so, I can feel the tension right now between these two, between the coaches. In each individual move when they're attacking, it just seems a little bit frantic, a little bit rushed. The over-the-top through balls, not quite accurate. The passing in and around the box. Both players very tentative defensively as well. You can tell that there's a little 5% extra on this game. Neither of these two players, A, want to lose because they get knocked out of the tournament, but B, that tweet is going to sting that extra little bit more from their opponent.
I think it's the way as well, Richard, that if Lyricz goes and wins, it's over, this whole kind of debate. If Rafsou goes and wins, this is going on for the rest of the season. So it's definitely an interesting one. But I believe we have a special little shout out to do for obviously one of our sponsors in Turtle Beach.
We do indeed. If you are watching the stream and you want to potentially get your hands on one of those Elite Pro 2 Turtle Beach headsets, start a tweet with the hashtag headset goals. That's hashtag headset goals, and you can tell us anything about the tournament. The guys at Turtle Beach will pick the favorite tweet using the hashtag headset goals, and you have your chance to win one of the headsets that every single pro player is using here in Bucharest, one of the official sponsors for the FIFA Global Series, Turtle Beach.
And of course, that could be, as you said, sending your team, sending one of your favourites for the weekend here at the first stage of the FUT Champions Cup. Obviously, as part of the FIFA 20 Global Series. If you're wondering what these guys are playing for as well, they're not just playing for a chance to make it into day 3 of the competition. They're also playing for a chance to jump up in that prize pool, Richard, from $3,500 up to $7,500. And of course, those all-important Global Series points, which they'll get 800 of them if they can make it through to the next stage of the tournament.
More importantly as well, for Rafsou in particular, he's fighting to qualify for FUT Champions Cup Stage 2 as well, with his qualifiers not going to plan earlier on in the month of October. If he wins this game, he'll get an auto qualification spot to Bucharest in a couple of weeks' time. Lyricz, on the other hand, Benny CR7 is watching with the biggest FUTWiz grin on his face right now. He's all decked out in green.
I was going to say, he's probably got a FUTWiz jersey.
He's got the hat on. He's got FUTWiz Dan tweeted already. He's got his postcode. He's going to send him loads of gifts, because if Lyricz wins this game, Benny CR7 will be qualifying for Bucharest in 2 weeks' time.
He will indeed, and obviously it's a huge thing for him as well. Lyricz, though, as you said, he has already qualified for the next FUT Champions Cup. He's one of the only few players that has been able to qualify at home for the first 2 majors of the year that have been available for him, which is important because we were speaking about it the other day, looking at what is needed for a player to become the FIFA E-World Cup champion or to be one of the best players in the world. The reason I looked in it is just consistency. It's very difficult when you make every single FUT Champions Cup. Obviously, the travel, the stress, playing, competing all the time. But it's those few players. We saw Joksan, for example, fantastic start to the year. Still made the World Cup final, but I just feel like if you are consistent throughout the year, it's something that will always work to your favour. Like Lyricz, Draft Story Cup, qualified for the first 2 FUT Champions Cups. Of course, I can't read into the next side of the season, but it's an important start.
Yeah, starting strong is always fantastic in your FIFA 20 season. Another thing that could potentially add that extra 5% would be picking up one of these Tifos from one of the major winners of last season. We got 21 kits as well, I think it is, Brandon. The FIFA Global Series Adidas Ball and the FIFA E-World Club Stadium. And do you know how you get your hands on that? The only thing you've got to do is link your FIFA and your Twitch account, and you're guaranteed to win one of the bundles. It's
a guaranteed prize, Richard. If you do that, guys, it is a prize every time. You will be guaranteed those Tifos. Use them on Weekend League. Use the kits on Weekend League as well against some of your best friends. We've already had a debate over this for the week. Have you come up with a Tifo? We've
had about 2 hours' time to think of a Tifo. I think it'd be me, just in a shirt or whatever you want.
Like that. I thought it'd be that.
Just that. So when you score, you get the replay, and it's just me.
The camera can't really just pick up the full pose there.
I'll let you see it later.
Okay, well, for me, if I'm using one of the Tifos already out there, it's MS Tasari. It's just the shush with the ear. I think that's just going to annoy your opponent, isn't it? We know what that shush celebration can do, of course, in any FUT Champions games. Obviously, guys, you can get involved at home as well in our Twitch extensions. They're really important to get involved in as well. You can vote every single game's result. I think last year there was a poll of who was wearing the better shirt, because Richard was wearing like some flamingo shirt. It was a jazzy shirt.
Yeah, also, if you are sort of getting involved with the Twitch extensions every single day, you will also win a guaranteed Prime Gold Players Pack. So get yourself in there, interact with the Twitch extensions, let us know all the answers to the questions, and if you are interacting each day of the FUT Champions Cup Stage 1 here in Bucharest, you will win a Prime Gold Players Pack. Tweet us what you're getting it as well. Let us know.
You will be rewarded, of course, for watching and supporting the stream. And if you have got a favourite in this matchup, do let us know. Not just in the Twitch chat, but, of course, using those Twitch extensions as well. We're jumping out into this game in a second, Richard. Second leg, it is 1-0 to Lyricz at the moment. I backed Rafsou for this one. You went for Lyricz. For me, if Rafsou gets an early goal, I'm talking within the first 30 minutes, he was quite good defensively. I can really see this one going to extra time, or even further than that.
Penalty shootout,
I mean,
potentially.
I don't want it to be a penalty shootout because we know the lottery of a penalty shootout really is tough, and it's not something you go and practice, is it? Daily when you go and practice penalties, you only practice it when you're in FUT Champions now and then. Even if you make it to that stage, and with no aim as well, or no cursor to try and aim your penalties, it is so difficult, and that's why we've seen people miss them and just smash them over into row Z, put them wide, or just keep it simple and go straight down the middle. Yeah,
I think penalties are. We said last year they were a lottery. I think it's even more apparent this year of how much of a lottery penalties are. You just don't know what you're going to get with the reticle being turned off. Is it going to fly over the bar? The best way of scoring a penalty, you've got to green it. You've got to time that finish. You've got to try and green time it, get that reticle as small as possible, and just fire it into the net. The head movement is something that you're just going to have to deal with. Keep your composure. Don't aim too far at the post, and just try and get through it while you can. Yeah, take some tips off #Harry. So he had 3 penalty shootouts and won all 3.
Well, there you go. I saw him tweet about this. Of course, Harry crashed out in the round of 16, unfortunately, for obviously # and the team there. But moving on for the players, we'll see that they're still in the competition. We have still got a last quarterfinal after this one to come up of an all-German matchup. Rajek up against Dylan Mike, which is going to be an amazing game there. 2 players that I believe would have brushed past each other or come up against each other back in FUT Champions Cup number 3 last year, in which Dylan Mike went and won it.
In the console final, they played against each other, yep. And Dylan Mike put the sword to Nicholas Rajek. Will it be the same result this time here in Bucharest, or will it be Nicholas Rajek getting some redemption and setting up a semi-final with the winner of this game on your screen right now?
Well, here we go then, Richard. Second leg of this quarter-final. It's 1-0 currently to FUTWiz Lyricz, obviously representing that brand new FUTWiz kit that's new for the FIFA 20 season, and one of those esports kits that is in that special pack that you guys can earn at home. Rafsou kicking from left to right, just joined his new esports organisation of IFI Esports. I was always wondering where Rafsou was going to go with his team this year, because if you look at the movement that a lot of French players make, the best French players either go at PSG or Vitality. He's already done Vitality. He's played at Olympique Lyon. I didn't know where was next for him. I thought PSG could have been that option. Unfortunately, my guess was wrong. 1-0 the score, though. Chance to jump up into a semi-final. A game with a lot more on it, though, than just some prize money and some points. Bragging rights.
Yeah, bragging rights. He's probably right now, in the heat of the moment, the #1 thing for both of these two. After the game's concluded, I should say, that's when they'll look back and think at the prize money and the points and Championship Sunday prospect. However, right now, you don't want to be on the receiving end of this result.
If you didn't know, Rafsou rocking an 11-man icon team. Doesn't want to fall upon the likes of Van Dijk, who a lot of players normally do, and you've got, what, 9 or 10 icons surrounding them. If you bring in Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo or Neymar, depends who you want to use. Obviously, more Neymar and Mbappe off the bench half the time. Semedo, though, player that Lyricz is very happy to back.
Yes, Semedo. I'm not sure if it's the informed Semedo, potentially playing out off chemistry at fullback, but
I think I've just seen Vieira at centre-half.
Vieira is centre-back, yeah. That's something that Dan and Lyricz have both been big advocates for. And I was talking to Dan in the hotel yesterday. He said Vieira, best centre-back in the game.
We saw his involvement as well in Diogo's team. Oh, Carlos was in a battle there. Up against Eusebio. And he won that battle, thankfully, for him. One thing Rafsou needs to do is get the ball forward. I think he does struggle looking at options. If you look at the amount of FUTWiz shirts, those dark and green shirts, there's no room for R9 to run into. He's got to try and break down 2 walls, which includes that midfield line and the defensive line, and there's a prime example of it.
Yeah, then you've got 2 absolute units at centre-back in Laurent Blanc and Patrick Vieira as your 2 CBs.
He's having a lot of success down this left-hand side as well, is Lyricz. Zambrotta, one of his favourite players of this weekend, has been huge for him. Neymar now. Scoop turn away from his man. Happy to interchange back to Zidane, who's been a key player as well. Surely for two, massive save, Yashin.
I didn't know if we were going to go low driven, maybe across him, or just try and open up with a finesse shot potentially, but there was no real placement on it from Ruud Gullit.
Ruud Gullit doing the defensive side of things. I don't think you'll see a pros team without Ruud Gullit in it. A staple for competitive FIFA since FIFA 17. Vieira obviously being dropped a little bit more now. Zidane being moved in, and players, more, as you said, Richard, looking for Gullit's +1. Who will it be? Zidane, Vieira. And other options on top of that as well. Rafsou now into R9. There was the shot, and it just hit straight against the Frenchman.
When you talk about percentages, though, the chance of that going in, very low. You've not only got 3-4 bodies to get past as well, but it's on the edge of the box. Long shot's not that successful this year, as Messi there just drifting offside. I feel like that's what Rafsou's sort of been resulting to, because Lyricz just hasn't given him any inch. He's given no mistakes. He's given him no easy pass in these two legs that we've seen so far. And he is getting a little bit desperate right now. He's rushing his passes. He's giving the ball
He's got
away.
no outlet. Every single time he's having to rush the ball through to R9, Richard, because just until now it's the first time he's had the ball for a while. Can he find the ongoing runner? Yes, he can. And Pele, this is a huge chance now. Watch out with that back post as well. He went for it. And it was just one of them. It was too scripted in the end. He knew exactly what was going to happen.
The success rate of scoring across is so slim, especially when you've got Vieira and Laurent Blanc as your two centre-backs. Trying to beat them in the air for a header.
Would you still say Vieira over Van Dijk, though?
I mean, after seeing how good he's played this game, he's got the pace, he's got the defensive attributes, medium-high work rates, the height. He offers you sort of everything that Van Dijk does, plus he's quicker.
This is a little bit better from Rafsou. He's been able to kind of keep the ball and try and create something. It's one of them, though, that Lyricz is often rushing Rafsou to make decisions, and we've seen that a few times where he's kind of crumbled in the final third where it comes to making a decision like a cross or a simple pass like we're seeing there, and which, if anything, was a little bit too short into Gullit. Just added time to come. We will be in our half-time interval in this second leg. The score does still remain at 1-0 to Lyricz, who's had probably the only chance in this half that was half decent and nearly went if it wasn't from the help of his goalkeeper.
His chance here to extend his lead.
Messi, keeper's off his line. Yashin makes a great save and falls back to R9. And that is the lead he needed, just to extend it. You was questioning whether the ball was going to bounce back to R9 around the penalty spot, but he just had that extra 5% pace, Richard, just to accelerate onto the ball and to put Lyricz 2-0 up in this game.
Big rebound. Messi's shot. Yashin only pushing it back into the danger area, and the best out-and-out finisher in the game right now. R9 Ronaldo smashing it in on the rebound, and I said he's got one more chance to extend his lead. He's doubled his lead at half-time with only 45 minutes left to play. 2-0 FUT with Lyricz.
So you can see how clinical he was as well by the chances that he had. You saw on the other side of that, literally, what, one shot for Rafsou.
And this is exactly what Rafsou has to do. 3-4-1-2 change. Gullit and Zidane as his two centre mids. R9, Pele up top.
It's one of them, though, Richard, is when does he call upon the likes of Messi on the bench? He's got Mbappe there as well, Eusebio.
Mbappe, Eusebio and Patrick Vieira.
Surely they're the three subs you're going to make.
Surprised to see Pele at striker when you've got Eusebio on the bench.
This is it for Rafsou. He's got 45 minutes to try and claw back 2 goals to send this to extra time. If not, he will be leaving the competition. And unfortunately will not be ensuring that he does qualify himself for the next FUT Champions Cup. If you're not too sure about the ruling on that, the top 4 from each console basically re-qualify for the next FUT Champions Cup. It will be a theme that will take place all season long. Of course, called the FUT Champions Cup Masters, and they all get a little trophy as well.
I'm guessing. No, this is just a little bit of a guess. But pressing constant.
I think we could read that one.
Constant pressure.
I think it was like pressure constant.
I like that.
I'm getting there.
So
the risk with that, though, Richard, is that if he does go to extra time, his players are going to be knackered.
You've got to go for constant pressure right now. You can't go out of a tournament knowing that you saw out a 2-0 loss. It just doesn't make sense. It's just not. It's not the way that Rafsou will play. He's going to attack the game. He's going to try and force his way back into it. Yes, gaps will open up, but that's the risk you have to take if you are Rafsou.
And it's also the question of whether Lyricz can find those gaps. Maybe he's a prime example of it now, just running down the byline with Zambrotta of all players. He's way out of position now, long ball forward, and that's going to be way too long. Even R9 couldn't latch onto that one.
A shake of the head from Lyricz. He knows that he's in a pretty comfortable position right now. 2-0 down, 2-0 up. Oof. Thought we were just going to get dispossessed there. 2-0 up with 53 minutes down. And with your opponent pressing as high as they are, with so many gaps appearing at the back.
This is where it changes, though, for Lyricz, Richard, when he starts to try and have that bit of grit to see out the game. Tournament football comes into it now, keeping the ball in the right areas to try and frustrate Rafsou. You know how high he's going to be pressing. He's going to be throwing everything forward. Here's a chance for Rafsou now. And that's the pass. It's misplaced once again from him in the final third. That's a gift, though, for him. George Best, and Blanc just staying really calm and collected. Unfortunately, goes straight back to George Best. He's just trying to tease Zambrotta out on this left-hand side. But again, so composed. Does win the ball back, gives away a corner. Where's this corner going to go? Looks like he's going to be played short. It will be played short into Neymar. And we'll just lay it back inside to Carlos Alberto. He needs another option now. A little dink into R9. And that one on the volley would have been a very interesting finish if that just flew straight into the top-hand corner.
Yeah, a bit of bicycle kick into the back post there. That had gone in, I'd been getting FIFA 19 flashbacks. So many mistakes coming out from Lyricz, though.
Has to just calm it down and look after the ball. Can't imagine the pressure he's under regarding the custom tactics that Rafsou's throwing at him right now. There you can see a pause. You often see that when a player is desperate to make a change or at least adjust his tactics. You can see the numbers back for Lyricz as well. His midfield 3 are back. Messi's just on the edge of the box. A goal now would really shake up this match. Neymar, he drops the shoulder. In comes the shot, and it's saved away by the Stegen.
And the pause cued there from Lyricz in sort of the period of play where he's been under the most pressure, and this pressure is just going to be ramped up in the final 20 minutes. Eusebio, Messi, and Mbappe in form, all coming on for Rafsou. I'm intrigued. Because with coaching, you're allowed to coach through the entirety of the game right now. Do you think FUT was done, maybe? I know he's a big believer of calming down, sort of recomposing in games. I think he said, Lyricz, cue a pause. Just calm it down. Even if you're not making a change, just relax, breathe.
Front post flick on Hull, it's there. Keeper, there we go. Second time of asking to Stegen, able to collect that one. But I definitely agree, Richard, a pause. Something that is often underrated in a big competitive FIFA match. We saw it quite a lot at the E-World Cup final in front of thousands, if not millions, watching all around the world, especially in that grand final. Mr. Sarr against Mo Alba, those pauses were massive, not just for making changes, but just to recompose yourself, get a drink, and look at how you're going to try and approach the last 20 minutes or so. One thing we're just noticing from Rafsou, though, Richard, a lot of snapshot chances that you would not often leave back to go in. And just needed that one more touch to make an angle. Fortunately, it wasn't there.
I don't mind him hitting it there. I've had a little bit of success with the first-time shots this year in FIFA, but I understand that you are wanting to create the best possible opportunities. However, you don't have time to dilly-dally around the box and try and work it into the perfect area.
This could be game over. He can take this chance. R9. It's all coming out from R9. A combination of skill moves there from the Brazilian icon, who's been so impressive as always this weekend. Tries to bring out a free kick from Laurent Blanc. Still in possession. His FUT was Lyricz, who does lead 2-0 at this moment in time. Ball inside. Surely would have been game over if the ball went across the box into R9. He would have easily tapped that one into the back of the net. Corner to come in from Lyricz.
The game played at a frantic pace right now.
R9. Fall back to your save. You know, when possession will change hands once again, and this is where Rafsou has to simply make something happen right now. He's just forced that ball slightly too wide. Vieira is there to clear it up. And this is what you mean about taking the sting out of a game. If he can try and find Semedo, who's clearly out of position. Messi needs to find a little bit of magic now. Trying to get onto that left foot that we know is so big for him.
What a block that was from Zidane. Messi on his left foot, edge of the box, finesse shot, probably rippling the back of the net. You see a massive switch of play there. CR7 gets up for it and keeps the ball as far away from Lyricz's goal as possible. This game is far from over.
There's the through ball. He's going to find it. It's going to be slightly too heavy. Goalie's off his line as well. This could be dangerous. The German goalkeeper just getting a huge right boot on that to clear that one away for a throw-in. Back into Zidane now. I'm sure the Frenchman will actually be wanting one of his French icons to pull him out from this hole. Which he's 2-0 down, but look at the number of players back for Lyricz. Shuffling from left to right, ensuring that no gaps will appear. There is a gap though for R9. Something has to happen again. Superb defending, so composed around his own box is Lyricz. You've got to think now, Richard, it's surely game over if he can hold on to this for a few more minutes.
It's a great switch of play as well. Just killing the game right here, taking the sting, as you said, out of it. Cristiano Ronaldo as far away from his goal as possible, and Rafsou's reaction right there. A very drained man right there. He's forcing long balls to go all the way back to ter Stegen.
And we're just going to be waiting for added time here until we'll be confirming that Lyricz will be our third player in the top 4 on the Xbox side here at FUT Champions Cup Stage 1 in Bucharest, Romania. We already know 2 players that are there, of course, including Tex and Spider-Con, the Brazilian. What a tournament it's been for both of those 2 as well. Lyricz looking for a third, just to conclude a fantastic performance over the 2 legs. And there we go, there's the full-time whistle. Lyricz will move into the next stage of the competition, Richard. He beat him in Swiss, and he's beat him again in the knockout stages.
I don't know if you saw that, but I think he was just checking his pulse as well. He's got ice running through his veins right there. A little bit of a chat. Nice to see the handshake between Futwiz and Rafsou. Shrug of the shoulders from Rafsou. I think he knows that he hit the post, didn't he, in the first leg. It just didn't really create enough for him to be sort of saying that he deserved to win that game. I feel like Lyricz sort of dominated the lion's share of the game. He held possession really well. His chances came and he took them. I think the only thing really that you'd say, the mistakes at the end of the game, that would be a little bit of a red flag. However, Rafsou didn't capitalise on the mistakes, and Lyricz goes into the semi-final where we'll play the winner of Razek versus Dolan Mike.
And what a fantastic 2 months he is having. Obviously beginning the FIFA 20 season, Lyricz is our third player out of 4. We've still got, of course, that German quarterfinals to come up. But before we do, we are going to throw it back over to the couch with Spencer and the team.
Thanks, guys. Another Brit making his way through on the Xbox side as well. Decent showing from the English guys. Tex and Lyricz could potentially have an all-British final. Obviously, we've got Spider-Con and one of the German lads trying to stop that, but pretty consummate performance from Lyricz there.
Yeah, I think so, but also well done to Rafsou as well. It was only 2-0 in the end, nothing like the 6-0 that we had in the Swiss and the other round. So obviously Lyricz wanted something like 10, didn't get that. So I think for Rafsou, like, there's obviously positives to take away from that. I think he kind of put in a good performance. Okay, didn't go through, but yeah, and didn't obviously now make it to the next Champions Cup. If he had got to 4th, he would have obviously got a master spot and gone there. Lyricz didn't need it, but I think that maybe means someone else has got a spot. So All happy for someone.
Yeah, Bene CR7 will be rubbing his hands together after that victory. It was a very professional performance from Lyricz as well. Just killed off the game as soon as he had a 2-goal advantage. He could have thought about that tweet, thought about he wanted to get more goals, but he just knows that he wants to get to the end stages of this tournament. He is a fantastic player, and I'm really excited to see the semi-final. Yeah,
got the job done, didn't he? We'll take a look in a minute at how exactly Lyricz did that. Before that, we've actually got an interview with Lyricz with Mike.
So first off, congratulations. We have the FGS Master Trophy. It's heavy, right? Wait, feel that way? Yeah, it's definitely heavy. So we saw a lot happening on Twitter before this. Y'all matched up earlier in the tournament. So tell us a little bit about that. Did it make it where you maybe a little more gassed up, more motivated in this game? Did you feel any more pressure? Because when things hit social media, sometimes a little more weight comes your way because you got like people and fans and everybody's interacting and engaging, and we love a little bit of back and forth, some tension.
So for me, like coming into this game, like this isn't a big game for me. So obviously for Rafsou needs it for top 4. And outside of this, Rafsou is actually like one of my friends. So I don't know, the tweet was kind of just like a little clapback because I was a bit shocked, to be honest, that he would like do that. You know, I played some people that, I don't know, I probably didn't agree with how they played in FIFA, and I still shook their hand. So I don't know, it's kind of a bit petty on my end, but nah, like, I don't know. I guess for me it was just a game, but obviously for him he needed top 4, and he was the one that was looking for vengeance, but not me. This was just another game for me.
Well, we didn't see 10 goals, but you did keep a clean sheet, which is obviously most important. Did you adjust anything in that matchup? Do you plan on adjusting anything going forward? I know a lot of you guys have matched up many times, even online at this point of the year. You had obviously the Draft Story Cup previously too, where you came 3rd/4th. Is there anything that we could see that you're going to add into the mix or maybe cater to a certain opponent?
No, not really. I just play my game, honestly. Sorry, I ain't got really much more to add, but no, I just play my game.
Well, congrats to moving on. I'll send it back to the couch, and we're looking forward to more of your gameplay.
That game he's playing is a very good game at the moment. He's been hard to stop, and it actually is a few people that have tipped Lyricz. I wouldn't say that he was one of our favourites in terms of his sort of past achievements going into this event, but the pros were all saying we should look out for him, and they clearly know what they're talking about.
And if you just listen to that interview as well, he kind of said, well, this wasn't a really big game for me. So that shows how confident he is. Surely all the games are big games. I know he probably meant in terms of he didn't need that game to qualify. For him to stand up there and be like, it's just another game, shows confidence what he's gained this year.
Yeah, I think that he is demonstrating the qualities both in-game and out of game to be a champion this year, whether it just be a FUT champion or whether it be an LQE champion or some. I feel like Lyricz is going to lift some form of trophy or get a big paycheck at some point throughout the year with the way he's playing and the way he's preparing, because tactically he looks great. He was one of the few players who had something a little bit different about his team, having Vieira at centre-back, for example, starting him up top, starting Eusebio at centre-back and then switching them around. There's just something about Lyricz this year which I feel like we're waiting to see a true champion rise.
Look at the passing here. It's great build-up and a good goal, and goals were in short supply in this tie, so it's a very important one for Lyricz there. Just before that, we saw one of the probably lowlights as opposed to highlights for Rafsou, his keeper getting caught out, but didn't actually lead to a goal. So this is right before half-time in the second leg, a crucial time to score. Keeper parries it in the direction of R9 Ronaldo. For me, I think the keeper should do better on the rebound, like trying to get across to make that second save. He goes with his legs instead of his hands. So I think I'd be a little bit annoyed if I was Rafsou on that one, but it made it 2-0, and at the end of the day, Rafsou couldn't break the duck.
And at the same time, he has got through on goal. When you're through on goal in a one-on-one situation, you expect to score with the likes of Messi. Maybe Lyricz didn't get the shot away that he wanted, he didn't position it right. He would argue that he deserved the goal in those scenarios. So that's why there's always that interesting situation of when a goalkeeper pans out. Did I deserve the goal? Did I not deserve the goal?
Yeah.
But either way, he comes out with the victory. And honestly, I'm excited to see what he has to offer for the rest of the season.
And he cleared up obviously what happened on Twitter as well. It was just a joke. He was just saying they are good mates, really.
Well, good mates, but he still didn't shake his hand.
Yes, but, you know,
at least
that wasn't said, it was said in jest.
Yeah, at least he shook his hand after the game, this game, though.
Some of these stats on the screen here. Many more tackles for Rafsou over Lyricz, which shows you a little bit about the difference in the game style. Lyricz hold on to the ball a bit better, or trying to frustrate Rafsou and making him come chase for it and win the ball back. But yeah, so commiserations to Rafsou. I'm sure we'll see him many more events in the future. Not next event, Of course, he hasn't clinched qualification. He needed that win to get it. Lyricz didn't need it, but got it anyway, and he's helped Benny CR7, as we mentioned. So that's one thing that is quite nice. Is the people aren't even involved in this event are still getting little boosts here and there if someone gets to a certain point. We've got one more quarterfinal left on the Xbox side. It's an all-German affair. We're going to have a quick break now. When we get back, we are going to see that matchup between NR7, Rafsou, and Dylan Mike. It's going to be great. Don't go anywhere.